Welcome back to Knicks Morning Coffee, episode 10. Well, today we know that last night was the first game of the preseason, and so we have a couple of things that we're going to go over. But first, I just want to point out to a friend of mine who hit me up last night asking me where was I during the game. And I'm so much of such a Knicks fan, you're not going to hear from me too much during the games. I'm a fan just like you, and I'm just watching every minute that I can, and then I'll bring it to you, as soon as I can, which most of the time is going to be the next morning because I also like watching the Knicks post-game show. But the Knicks won that game last night, 104-99. It's preseason, nothing to get too hyped about. Washington, they didn't play all of their best guys, but then again, still, every win, makes up for the season as it goes on. So first we're going to start with Marcus Morris. He backed up his words. He said nobody's coming into the Garden, and taking over what we're trying to build. This is our house, and this is how it's going to be. Now, we don't want him getting suspended and possibly costing the team, but still, we like the fact that, he's going to bring that ruckus every night. And even the way that he does it, it's going to affect quite a few of the players on our team because we got some players who got some mean streaks. Mitchell Robinson, if you noticed last year, he don't back down from nobody either. So, that's going to have a positive effect on him. And then you see him with Trier and Dennis Smith Jr. They also got a little bit of a mean streak when they play the game, when somebody's trying to, get in their path or, trying to punk them or something. And then you can't forget about Bobby Portis.
He just looked like he got a mean streak.
Yeah, well, he punched his own teammate. So imagine what he's going to do to the opposition. But still, with that said, that just coincides with what Fizdale was talking about, was being a competitive team on the defensive end and then again on the offensive end, because they were pushing the ball last night, even without Dennis Smith Jr. There was a nice pace to the game. But again, we need Dennis Smith Jr. because I can see he can get down the court quicker than any guy that we have. Okay, then the next thing, and also back to Morris again. Pat Riley used to talk about this thing called fool's gold. And he mostly was talking about shooting a lot of threes when you're making them. But in Morris's case, he had a good offensive game in the first half, 17 points. But we don't want to get to the point where we think that he's going to carry us, this season on the offensive end. That was great what he did. But, a guy like Morris, come in, do what you do. Do what you normally do, because that's what's going to help us. And if we try to get into the point where we think that your game is going to be elevated like that every single night, then we're going to be in trouble, because that's really not in your DNA. You're a great, solid player, but all-star material, taking 20 shots, granted last night you had 12, but had you stayed in the game, it would have been 12-24. But that's not really what I thought you was brought in here for. We need you to be a steady anchor on the defense and then just a solid player on offense. And let Randall...
And occasionally knock somebody out. Occasionally.
Well, yeah, we're going to get that because this is what he brings. This is what he always done. So that wasn't even nothing new. It's just that in the first game, we don't want you getting kicked out and even sending that kind of message, to the young guys. But still, bring your solid A game every night. And we got Randall and Dennis Smith Jr. and, even Knox, guys like that who can really raise their game. And then we can get good, solid play from our bench contributors. Even though, of course, I'm hoping you'll be a starter. R.J. Barrett, I like what R.J. Barrett did. He stuck with it. Also like in the post game when he said the players told him keep shooting. And we do need you to do that. But I want Coach Fizdale to just keep in mind that even though we're still developing the young guys, it's not at the cost of winning the games. And I think that could have backfired, even though it's just preseason, that had you lost that game, sticking with all the young guys, that might have had a negative effect on some of them. So we also got to be careful of that, going down the stretch. When they get that close down the stretch, just go win the game, preseason or not, put the best players out there to win the game. And I just thought that even though he was tired, that Taj Gibson, I know he had a lot of fouls too, but Taj Gibson, he had deserved to be out there in them closing minutes because that's just what he brings and that's what he's used to. And then we had a whole lot of other contributors. I like what Randall did. I think we should force feed him just a little bit more in the preseason because I don't want him just only trying to handle the ball at the perimeter. We seen what he did in the beginning of the game when we was featuring him down low. Let's give some more of that because he's proven in his days with the Lakers and with the Pelicans that he can hit the cutter. So, we want him to be a point forward, but we don't want him to be the type of guy that thinks he's got to take it off the rim every time and just push the ball unless you're actually initiating the break. And it's a difference between getting a rebound and taking 3 or 4 dribbles or getting a rebound and pushing it, and then now you're looking for the open players. But just to take those couple of dribbles and then pass it right back to the guard, that's wasting valuable time. Again, that's something coach has to develop in our players.
What I like last night was the versatility that we had. We was making the extra pass for the jump shooters, and we also was feeding it inside. So we was doing both best of both worlds yesterday.
Yeah, and that kind of made me feel proud because I think what I said in one of my earlier shows is that we're not just going to be gunning from the perimeter. We got too many guys that can go down low and get that spin move off, and they all seem to have it. And I would also like to see us feature Mitchell Robinson and give him some of that spin move because he's 7 feet. So once he extends his arm out, that's going to be 2, any way you look at it, or he's going to the line. But yeah, we had a great balance of shooting and pounding inside, and then also driving and dishing inside. And I also love what Ellington brought to the table last night. He brought that real sniper mentality that we haven't had in a while, and we definitely haven't had it in a guy that can really put the ball up in the hole. So overall, the Knicks played a really good game in their first preseason game. Some things that we definitely still need to work on, and that's like in our defensive rotations. I don't want us to get caught up in the guy with the ball when we're on defense and we leaving that 3-point shooter open, on the opposite side. We got to get away from that because we didn't get that burnt last night. But a real team with a real sniper is going to make us pay. And the way that our guards are locking up top and we got Mitchell back there, we don't have to spend too much time too far away from the 3-point shooter. If you're not 2 steps away, then, something ain't right because we're just flying by them running out, and that's going to cost us a game somewhere down the line. So many little things that we need to tighten up on, but it was twice as many things that we did well. Again, it's the first preseason game. If I just look at top to bottom, Knox had a very solid game last night. Like what he was doing. Would kind of like to see him on those kickouts, give the pump fake, let the guy go by you, as opposed to rushing the shots. He got a sweet jumper, so let's use it for what it's worth. I kind of also like to see if somebody does have it going for 3 or 4 plays in a row. Let's ride that hot hand. Because that can push your lead, from 5 to 10, or 10 to 20, but let's take advantage of that. Other teams have been doing it to us in the past. So now with the kind of team we got, it's time for payback. And this is the year to pay back. Morris set the tone. He put the word out last week that this is the Garden, this is the Knicks, and this is how we're going to play. So now it's up to us to come out there and not just back him up, but back up the coach's words that I'm going to use all my versatility. I'm going to find me a nice rotation, and we're going to bring New York Knicks basketball back to everybody this year. So it's going to be a lot more games to go, 3 more preseason games. We'll dig into dissecting those, but just from what we saw last night, we got a lot to be proud of. And again, I'm not going to bring you too much during the games. I like watching the games just like the rest of y'all do. And then I'll see you again later. But, as far as, commenting and liking, but also like those subscriptions, I want to see those get up a little bit. So maybe I can come at you live. All right. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.